What is up, Podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. And we're going to do a little choose your own adventure right now. I know, Anthony, you're here. I'm here. We have Sean and Seth of Trawl, who, if you just clicked on the episode, you know that. But you also just heard their intro. But we haven't picked which intro we're going to use yet. I want you guys to pick the intro, Sean and Seth. Which one do we use? The funk one, the regular one, the thrash one we've been using?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm biased, I think I'm going to go with the funk one, just, from a bass standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start us off with the funky bass one, especially with Seth on the episode. So that makes more sense.
We haven't used the funk one in a while. So, all right,
yeah.
we've just made that decision. You've actually already heard it, but that decision is going to happen in post. So, yeah, a little time travel, Inception.
I think we were using the funky bass for a transition for a little bit.
Yeah.
We do like the punk thrash one, and then when we transition from intro to the segment or interview, we were doing the funky bass line. So we sprinkled it in, but you get the full thing.
Bring that back, because we've been using thrash for a while now, but I'm ready to change it up, and I wanted you guys to be. It's interactive here. It's choose your own nerdery on Podioslave. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, when you guys have heard this
spice.
This is how we came to that decision. But how you guys doing, man? It's been a long time.
Doing awesome. We've had like a super busy spring, summer, and we've just been staying like really busy, and it's been like productive in like many different ways.
It's been busy as hell. We've had some pretty good shows come through our gates. Had a good opportunity to start the year off in the Cavern in Portland with some good friends of ours in Parts Per Million and Object. I mean, those guys, both bands put on a hell of a show, and it was really cool to get back out. We took a little respite to try to basically just keep writing and get ready for the new year. I mean, last year was such a crushing year for us. So we were burning and turning. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think we knew it was going to be really hard to top last year because we had such a killer year. So, like Sean said, we took a few months off in the winter just to write new music. And I think that paid off because we were really able to, just rehearse and write and tighten things up and get ready for spring. And then, since then we've been just grinding, and we've had some really cool opportunities this year too, to open for some cool bands. In May, we got to play with CKY and Crowbot down at Wally's in Hampton Beach. One of our favorite spots, of course. Wally's has been so good to us, just having us back about 3 or 4 times a year, and it's always like for something really badass.
I love Wally's
every single time. I know,
great spot.
I've only been 2 or 3 times. I love it.
Same, yeah. It's an awesome spot.
Yeah, great place to see a rock show, and it's just just one right after the other. It's been awesome. We just got to play in July. We got to play with Nonpoint at Wally. So, and that was actually the second time. So it's been, we talked to you guys back, I think, a few times ago, when right after, I know Tony, you came down.
Yeah.
2022.
That was like January.
Getting the opportunity to do it again was cool because you always hope that when you open for one of these bands, like first thing you're like, okay, we're the opening band. Hopefully they don't hate us. And then, but also, to be asked back is like kind of a testament of like, okay, you can get away with anything once, but
right.
If they ask you back, that means they actually liked you. So it was like, I was really excited about that. It meant a lot. So, and it was a killer show. It was absolutely badass.
I got to know, you guys, when you're busy in the thick of this, is it a daily thing? So you're not a full-time band, but you take it serious. And when you're in the thick of it, you're playing a couple times a month, probably. Is it a daily thing for you guys? Because Tony, for us in the podcast, it's daily. We're cooking up ideas. We're scheduling.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
No days
definitely.
off.
Yeah, I know Seth and I talk a lot, not just in the band chat, but outside of the band chat. And honestly, yeah, it probably is a daily thing. I know we get together with the guys, at least once a week to practice. And it is, we talk constantly through our chats or, on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. We shoot messages to each other. We talk about stuff. Honestly, like the last month has been really crazy for us, just based on, we did, it was Wednesday night, which was really awkward just because it's a Wednesday. You don't expect to have to play a show on a Wednesday night, but Wednesday with Nonpoint. The very next night, we did a little bit of a jam with our buddies in Loki at Banded Brewing. And then we took a couple days off. And then the following week, we started recording vocals. And we've been doing, I mean, it's been, what, 2 months, month and a half that we started doing this new EP.
Yeah.
And I just finished the vocals this past Tuesday. So when this releases is probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we just finished the vocals on that. Played Herd Flock up in Richmond with, there was like 30 some odd bands up there.
A lot of bands, yeah.
Holy shit.
And then it all
looked like fun.
Herd Flock is great every year. I highly recommend it. If you're in New England and you get a chance, or if you're in a band in New England and have a chance to do Herd Flock, do it. It's so much fun. It's all the benefit, like the Richmond
elementary school
art department, music department, you know, it does something with the Richmond schools, which is really cool. And every year they raise stupid amounts of money to help these kids up in Richmond, Maine do stuff, whether it's art, whether it's music, it doesn't matter. All these bands come together. We don't make any money off it. We raise all our funds to go to this Richmond school, help out. But we did that, and then I got back to vocal recording, and then played a show this past Saturday for us in Casco, Maine, which was kind of cool. It was a pretty long day, full of mud and dead frogs, unfortunately.
Oh, what happened? Tell us more.
So, like, right up behind our merch table, for whatever reason, there was like a pile of dead frogs, and we don't know why. I think somebody had left them there.
Cast
but like,
a spell. Someone cast a spell.
So
I think that's where Dave was throwing the dead frogs from their pool, because it's the guy who used to own Wyndham Tattoo in Wyndham, Maine. He does a customer appreciation show, and he shut up shop last year, but he has a pool there, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was just all his dead frogs from the pool. He got them out, tossed them over into the woods, like right where somehow we got set up with our merch table, and every like 10-15 minutes you'd get this whiff of death. It just was like,
was it Les Claypool, his frog brigade?
Yeah,
I hope not. I mean, rest in peace, man. But seriously,
God
like,
bless.
when you play outside, like, anything can happen. You never know what you're walking into, and just like there's always weird stuff like that where you're like, I don't know why, but this was a thing. And I look over, and you guys are pouring Bud Heavies over the frogs to try to get rid of the smell.
We literally, my wife and I cracked like 3 or 4 Bud Heavies, and we're just like, we're going to get rid of the smell one way or another. And we just sat there and poured them. I don't know if she did. I know I went over and cracked like a friggin' Twisted Tea just to give a different scent, because the Bud Heavies were starting to get a little funky with the decay of frog.
Jeez. Well, it's funny. You guys have had a crazy busy summer just following you on the socials, and I've been slacking as a Trawl fan. I typically would make it to a few of those shows, but I think one of them I was at Blink at Fenway in Boston. One of them I was at Flaming Lips, and another night, Twan and I were down in Mass seeing Crime in Stereo, and what was the other show we went to that weekend? The Heavy Hex CD release party, of album release party. So there were shows the same night that summer is tough, man. There's so many things to go see. So I apologize for not making my way to more Trawl shows, but I'll remedy that. I did go to the one at the Cavern.
Yeah, it's
yes,
good,
you
man.
Did, yeah.
Tony's like, I would have gone, but I had plans.
Sorry, guys.
I wanted to go do something fun, you know?
Oh, totally cool. Like, you guys are always so supportive. So, like, totally, of course, like, it's awesome that you guys are getting to go to other awesome stuff too. And to kind of answer your previous question there, for me, like, Trawl is definitely every day. You know, it's absolutely every day, you know, booking, making flyers, trying to think about what's the artwork going to be for the next thing, the next EP, the next single, the next t-shirt, the next sticker. I'm always like trying to plot and scheme on like what's going to be next. And it's fun. I think that's like, it's equally as fun for me as actually putting my bass guitar on and playing bass, and, you know, just like trying to think through all those things. And I try to, as much as I can, I like, when I put this band together, I really want it to be democratic. Like, everything, we talk about it, this is all of our band. It's not my band. It's everybody's band. Like, so when we have ideas, we throw them out there at everybody. We try to get everybody talking about them. But I'm psyched to, kind of carry the torch. But like, it's always awesome the reason why I love to do this is because I get to do it with my friends. So getting that, the band chat is always ablaze with like, not only just like hilarious memes and shenanigans, but just like also getting stuff done. So
more fucking spin kicks, baby.
Who's the most ridiculous in the band chat?
Oh geez, it's a tie between Sean and Justin for sure.
I was gonna say Justin and I are pretty out there. It's also just kind of, you gotta have fun. I mean, these guys are my best friends. They're my brothers. We talk constantly, and whether it's you can tell the mood in the chat where it's going, because if it starts to get serious, like there is some goofy stuff, but it's like, okay, let's A, B, C, let's get down to business. But then when it's not anything serious, it's like hot dogs, shark cosplay. We've been joking on stage lately that one of us has to poop while we're playing a set, so it's been fun like that. So like,
random, yeah.
So you guys have been in bands for like 2 decades. How was it pre-smartphone? Like, will you just go on instant messenger and like you'd have a group chat on there? Because I feel like
not even
chat's a blessing and a curse, right? You're so accessible.
It's true.
It was either chats or emails. That's what I did back in the day.
And then
nothing gets done. Everything takes 3 emails back and forth.
That's true. Like, and for the longest time, it was really just nothing. It was you only saw or talked to your band members at band practice, and then you talked about the show that was coming up, and that was it. Like, for the longest time when we were kids, or you just end up at your, at the guitar player's house on the weekend, and then you'd be drinking beers, like talking about stuff or whatever. But yeah, the online thing, I mean, not like before, the chat message blew up, like really it was much different. So
imagine, Tone, if we tried to do this podcast of like hang on after the Zoom, we'll plan next week, and then I wouldn't see you till and hope you show up.
Imagine trying to wrangle Nate. Just imagine trying to wrangle Nate without a text. I love you, Nate. If you're listening, it would have been so difficult, man. Because it was like just hopefully Nate show. I mean, he always did show up, but you just didn't know what was going to happen from message to message.
Well, I know back when I first started doing bands, like that was in high school, and it was like you got together with these guys or guys and girls, and you'd start to work on something, and then you'd set a date. All right, Tuesday's practice, be at my house or be at the drummer's house by this time. You'd go, and then you could talk throughout school. Like you'd see each other, you'd pass notes, whatever you'd see. But then becoming an adult, it was like, yeah, we did have cell phones, but like the track phone only did so much, and if you ran out of minutes, you were really fucked.
Zachy Morris.
Yeah.
Twan.
The biggest.
We were in high school.
We had a household cell phone that my mom got through her work that was like deep discount. And this was probably what, 01, 02. This was before like, there's only like a couple other rich kids in the school. I was not one of those, but there's a couple other rich kids that had them. But then I had my family one, and it was fucking huge. You couldn't even put it in your pocket.
Yeah. Straight out of Saved by the Bell. It was the one that Zach Morris pull it up, and pull the thing down. And
you're still reeling it. And it was back when nights and weekends were free. So like,
yeah, don't text me before 5
7
p.m.
7 o'clock. Yeah,
you gotta wait.
But I felt like badass. But the only people I could call were people's houses. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You'd be outside in your car in the hog and be like, "Hey, I'm outside. Come outside. Oh, okay, let's go."
Exactly.
Yeah, but getting to be an adult, you had to figure that shit out too. And it's like, like it was emails and Yahoo Messenger or AIM. You just had to do it, and you hoped that everyone was looking at the fucking computer at that time, or your email would pop up, and you'd be like, "All right, we got practice," or did that go through? And it was just a pain in the ass back in the day. I mean, I can only imagine how it was back in like the early 90s and late 80s trying to book shows and tours cross country. Like now it's like you Facebook message somebody in Portland, you're like, "Can I get this date?" And they're like, "Yep." And then you have a date. Like it's
you link your
easy.
socials so they know who you are.
Yeah. DMs. Benny Horowitz told us the story of how to book shows back in the day with the payphone and the calling cards and all that stuff. Way back on episode 99, he gave us an all-time story. Go check that out if you haven't listened to it before. But it was way different. You call someone's mom's house to try to book a band in 1996 because that was the only way you could.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, nobody lived on the internet then, so
Simpler
until really MySpace messages was really, but even still, not everybody lived on the internet, so it was still harder.
Well, and you couldn't send Dropbox files of bass lines or shit like that.
Right.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I imagine there's some people have a love for that old school, pre-internet, but I can't imagine being in a band without it, realistically.
It's really changed, the way that we record even. It's funny. I've been talking to Sean a lot about this because, I definitely come from those days of you save your money for 2 years, you book studio time, you go in, super practiced, super rehearsed, you record all your songs in a race against the clock because you're paying for that time, and you get your songs done, and you leave with a record, and it's cool because there's a camaraderie to it. You're all in, all the kids in the pool, you're there, you're immersed in it. Nobody's, everybody's just in it. But these days, the way that we just recorded our record is very, okay, we're going to do drums today. We're just going to focus on drums. 2 of us are there as opposed to everybody, just for some support. And then, okay, now we're going to track guitars. Maybe our guitar player will do some of it by himself. Maybe I'll come in for support, so it's a lot more kind of piecemeal of a process, and I sort of miss that. I'm a little bit nostalgic for the old days, but at the same time, when I think about it, I'm like, that was crazy doing it that way. It was more expensive, more arduous. It's definitely, you can take your time now. You can send things back and forth. If you don't like it, you can try it again. There's infinite possibilities, to tweak and everything. But with that is also comes a whole other set of problems. But
oh, totally.
So I think it's a trade-off. But the further we get into doing things the new way, I think it makes so much sense, and it's awesome. But I'm just a little bit nostalgic for that old way.
Well, and it allows bands like you guys to have jobs and have families and still make music and still play shows when you can and still be creative, where 20 years ago that probably wasn't the case, right? Those bands are either you're in it or you're not in it, because if you're not in it, we got to find somebody else to take your spot so that they can be in it full time. So
yeah,
the part-time band is way different.
There's a lot of bands that still kind of have that mentality where you have to be all in or not. And when you're all in it, I know some bands, I won't name any names, but I know guys, they have jobs, but they're like 1099 contractors. They don't have health insurance and, a 401k that they're building up. They're kind of they're trades guys. They're just doing what they can do. And you know what? The band thing, they're hoping that hits, they're hoping it hits like it's 1985 and they're going to get $1 million contract. And you know what? I hope they do get that. I don't see it coming, but I'd like to see
anymore
them.
Either, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's, these guys are still out there. They're roofing or painting or carpenters, and some guys are just doing flooring, and they're a 1099 contractor. They show up and they work, and they might not work on Tuesday, so fuck it, I'm gonna day drink and probably work on a DUI.
Don't drink and drive, everybody.
Don't do that.
Well, then that's not to say that you guys aren't in it full time, because you just told us you were. It's just a matter of being able to do it on your terms and when you can, right? You can start a bass line, you can come up with an idea, vocally, and save that for when you've got time to get in the studio and play around with it, and then come back to it when you're able to do it again, maybe 4 days from now or 8 days from now. So
yeah, well, and it's fun because like you were just saying, you can work on bass lines or melodies and stuff like that. I honestly, for a while, for my current job, I was doing deliveries. So I'd be on the road for 3 hours driving, and these guys would have sent me a new, practice recording of a song, and I'd start working on the melody, or we already had the chorus figured out. So I'd keep singing the chorus so I could have it set. And then I'd start to work on, and having that time to just not, like, I'm still working, but not really thinking about too much because I'm on the road, was so crucial to getting these new songs that we just wrote where I wanted personally, vocally, and lyrically to be compared to like our previous, songs.
Are you doing the voice recorder on your phone?
When I'm in my, like, when I was delivering?
Capturing ideas, or like I see a lot of people do Notes app for lyrics. They just have like a lyrics bank.
Some stuff was like the voice recorder. I'd kind of send something to like Seth and be like, "What do you think of this melody?" Or the way this sounds, and he'd be like, "I see the merit," or I'm not a big fan of that, and I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of wasn't feeling it either. I just wanted to see what your opinion was and see if that, I was on the right path, or if I was just looking in a different direction while still walking down, the right path."
We send each other a lot of voice messages.
Oh yeah.
Like that's been the thing for us, is like we'll ramble on for 6-7 minutes and just like pour out our heads about all of our ideas of what we're, not only on songs but on shows but on everything else. And then you'll send me one back an hour later, because we're always like working, doing something, but you get 10 minutes and you're like, oh, I had all these ideas, and you just kind of pour your head out. So we do that a lot. It's like a little different than being on the phone, but it's
real-time feedback. Because in the old days, you'd have to, like, imagine, Sean, you're cooking up this vocal melody for a week and it's brilliant in your head, and then you show up to practice and Seth's like, it has merit,
I'd
but
have
I'm
been
not
devastated. Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck, man?
I very, very rarely, like, I don't even remember ever saying something like that to you, because like,
you suck, Sean.
It's usually like, shut the fuck up, singer boy. You be quiet.
No. I mean,
it's not like that. Seth is like the nicest guy ever. Just for everybody out there.
Seth, you in the past, you've been like, I can kind of see where you're going. Like, you'd give me hints, or not even hints. Like, you'd give me your opinion, which matters deeply to me, and it would be like, okay, Seth was. I could tell he was feeling it, but not fully with this song. So I start to like, I'd try to curve where I was going, like, okay, seemed like he liked when I did this. So let's see if I can get to that part in a different path and make it what Seth's looking forward, what he's seeing in his mind. And honestly, you and I have been working together long enough that it's like, I get an idea of where you're going to see the melodies yourself. So I try to get into that area and then just try to root it out.
I feel like, this new one has been about you, about your head. And these songs are very much a solo journey into some very specific things that you have had, kind of going on, but also just like trying to write some Trawl songs that are more serious in nature, less tongue in cheek, and more like serious kind of
it's a little less new boot goofing,
Exactly, yeah. But we do have one. We do have one song.
Yes, one, but it still has a serious connotation. The message behind it is serious. The new EP, I'll come right out and say it. The new EP is called Tempest.
Nice. I like that.
We Seth and I kind of came up with that. He was like, what do you think about for the CD? And I think we were 3 songs in at least. And
this one was you. That was your idea.
Yeah. Tempest came up because I was just thinking of, the first song we wrote for this new album was called SOS, and it's about calling for help. It's about asking for help when you need something. If you're depressed or suicidal, or you don't know what to do in life, and it comes from a very deep place of my own that I am not proud of, and I know where I was mentally and emotionally at that time frame. I'm glad that I didn't make the decisions that I was thinking about making at the time, because I wouldn't still be here. But it's for asking for help, reaching out to people. And that was the first song we wrote together.
You played that one live too, right? For a little while now?
Yep. It tends to, honestly, it seems to be hitting a lot of people right in the feels, in the stomach, because they understand. There's some people that have come up to me afterwards and been like, that song about help, where did you ask for it? And I said, friends, family, call somebody, even if it's a, suicide prevention or betterhelp.com, get a therapist. They're not that expensive, and just talk to somebody. I was like, call your friend and just be like, listen, I know you're going to make fun of me, but I'm not feeling great and I need to talk to somebody. And I mean, I didn't necessarily go about the same routes, but I did talk to somebody, and it changed a lot of things. And that song is really speaking to people. I feel I'm getting a lot of people coming up to me at shows and being like, I need to know where you asked for help, or how did you ask for it? And I was like, you fucking asked, period.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, I remember when you guys played it at I think the first Taproot show.
Yeah, the Taproot show last
time. I remember it distinctly, and you feel every inch of that song.
Oh yeah.
Well, and it's meant to be that way. You're supposed to feel some darkness, but there's also darkness comes from light. So you need to find where the light is coming from, because it's usually on the opposite end of the darkness.
Oh yeah. Well, that's an important message. Period. And we'll link to some help in the show notes too, if you're thinking about that stuff and need resources. That'll be down in the show notes. But it's certainly worth talking to somebody. And I think we've all had times when things aren't great, and we've wanted to think about things being different, and needing a little help along the way is never a bad thing. So go ask for that help.
If you need help, fucking ask. That is literally the easiest thing I could say. And especially the way we start the song, I basically just started saying, if you need help, ask. If you feel depressed, ask. Talk to somebody. We can't lose any more good people in this world, because this world's so fucking dark right now with everything that's been going on for the last 5-6 years. We can't deal with this shit anymore. So if you need help, talk, ask. I mean, honestly, if one of our fans needs help, they can reach out to the band, message the band, and we will talk. We will have a conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we talk to fans all the time, which is awesome. Like, we do have several fans that reach out to us, not about this stuff, but just about all kinds of things, ideas they have, or, just to say thank you or what's up, or I enjoy that part of it too.
I love that part, dude. That's like my favorite part. Is
of you
talking
guys.
To people.
That's a reflection of you guys. I mean, a lot of bands, whether it's how they present themselves off stage, on stage, are not approachable. We've all seen thousands of bands. Some are not approachable, and I would never even think to approach them with anything. And the ones that do, it's because they connect with you, right? Or as a fan, I connect with them.
Yeah.
That's you guys for sure. Like I've seen you at shows after you open for Raw at Wally's, and you're standing there and people just coming up to you, and you're just living it up and having a conversation, and people, it's a full room, and everybody's like, hey man, great set, hey I love that song, like what's the name of it again, where's your EP, like that's, and you guys are right there, which is awesome.
Honestly, like it's funny because I've had this conversation a couple times with people. They're like, oh, Mr. Rockstar. And it's like, I'm not a rock star. Like, yeah, I play music and I get to do some really fucking cool shit with my best friends, but you get us off stage. Like, I'm going to be super thankful and super gracious that you come up and talk to me. I am going to be sweaty as hell and fucking wetter than, an oyster. It's just, I'm gross after a set, but I am there to talk with people. I love speaking with people. I like hearing, the compliments about my bandmates. And when people are like, oh my God, that song, 100%, I can recognize everything that was in that song. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like what we're doing is right. Because there's sometimes, I'll be honest, there's been times in, the last few years where even Seth and I have been like, are we doing the right thing? Is this, like we kind of grumble, and maybe we're doing it to each other. Maybe we're doing it to ourselves, but it's seeing people come up and be like, gee, oh my God, that song, I love it. I can't wait. Like, where is it? I'll buy 2 of those CDs. Like my mother needs to hear this, or my best friend needs to see this. And it's really cool. It makes me feel like we're doing the right thing, and we're making, especially, recently, we're making a difference. We've got a lot of fans that have been coming up to us at shows just to talk, and it's awesome. It feels so good to just talk.
That's like the best, kind of reward or sort of validation for me. Just, being able to talk to fans and for us to kind of understand each other that way, because doing this is like, it's kind of an emotionally violent sport. You have a terrible show that 4 people are there, and then you have an awesome show where it's sold out and there's 400 people, and then you get people online making shitty comments and stuff like that. But then you get people reach. I had a guy last show, he brought me a shark mask. He bought
Nice.
it and he thought of
Nice.
me, and he brought it. He's like, you need to wear this at Halloween. So I'm actually going to wear it on Halloween. So I was like, that's so cool. So it's kind of a roller coaster, it's but when you get those cool connections, it's like, it's all worth it.
Well, the thing is, there's no playbook for like negative comments or like how to feel after a bad show. And Tony and I always, we compare being this podcast in a band. It's the closest thing that I've done that I could even remotely compare it to. And honestly, all it takes is some DM from the clouds of some guy you've never met. It's like, that episode rules. And I'll text Tony. I'm like, I needed that. Like that.
Yeah,
I'm ready to
totally.
go. Sign me up for another 10 episodes,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
More
Yeah.
than that, Tony. Another 100.
I don't think
100.
we've had some of the keyboard commandos that have come into like posts or something like that, and they'll say something like shit or garbage, or they'll say something stupid, and it's like, hey man, sorry, this isn't for you. Like, we're just trying to do this shit because we want to, and if you don't like it, you don't have to acknowledge its existence. Like, it's
Keep
pretty
scrolling.
easy. Yeah, you don't even have to scroll. Like, just put your fucking phone down and go back to work, or stop,
Yes.
get off the toilet and stop shitting, for fuck's sake. I mean,
Find something else to do. You don't need to. Your sport is not.
we
shit on
constantly
us.
get messages from the Russian spam bots being like, "Oh, your account's going to be shut down." And Seth has seen my response. It's about, I don't know, 38 pages long of "fuck you, you're an asshole, piece of shit," and then I just put it to spam and I block them. But then there's once in a while you'll get some guy from like Arkansas who's just like, "This isn't the country I want to see," and it's like, dude, just shut up, go away.
Yeah.
Like, we won't say anything, but it's like, okay, sorry, this isn't for you. Like, yeah, I'll say it. I remove the comment because I don't want negative shit in my headspace right now.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
I'm having fun with my best friends, and if you don't like it, well, fucking sucks to be you, because I'm having fun.
And it's YouTube. YouTube's the worst
Bunch
when
of
it comes to
woke
that
Ken
stuff.
dolls, remember that?
Totally, yeah.
Yes, woke Ken dolls, among other things.
My
I mean,
favorite woke Ken dolls, though. Come on,
It is great. I loved that. It's one of my favorite. It's funny, that video that we're not gonna bring attention to that specific video, but it for the longest time would get comments because it was a divisive topic, even though we didn't really talk about it like it was, and it lived for like 3 years, and it finally cooled off. The last year we had a lot less.
Oh, I'll get it.
good.
I'll get it lit back up. Don't worry.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Yeah,
Send it to the Russian bots. We'll get, hey,
Yeah,
support
yeah.
the scan, support the
but
movement.
YouTube, right? I mean, YouTube is one of the worst
YouTube.
places to
I mean,
comment.
honestly, I haven't seen too many comments on YouTube. I don't spend enough time paying attention
Avoid
to
them.
the comments. I honestly, I use my TV, so I don't even get to see comments. So
Smart move.
I feel like
it's,
people they feel even more anonymous on YouTube than like on regular social media. So they're just that much more likely to be goblins, like they're just like in full goblin mode. Yeah.
They can stay under the bridge anonymously.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't lose sleep over them per se, but at the same time, like your reaction is you want to be like, well, fuck you too, and that's just kind of not going to get anything done. So.
Again, usually if it's the kill them with kindness thing. Like, sorry, this isn't for you, man. And if it's something real shitty, that's when it's like, all right, dude, you didn't need to be a dick. Like, we're not saying anything racist. We're not saying anything stupid. We're not being sexist. We're not showing any divide into a political party or anything like that. Like, we're just down the middle talking about fucking sharks and crab rangoons. And if you don't fucking like it, Godzilla, we're having fun and we're just being goofy, and we're a bunch of 40-year-olds who are just trying to have fucking fun. And if you don't like it, just
move on.
Keep walking. Keep going.
So this EP, I was looking at the Discog, 4 EPs in 4 years. Shark Pinata, 21. 22 was Murky Depths. 3 was Cosmic. And 4 is going to be Tempest.
Tempest.
Is that intentional? You guys are going to keep the streak alive?
Yeah, we've been talking about this lately. So I love the EP a year idea. It just works well because it seems like with the song ideas that we have in a year span, you can get 4 or 5 that you feel are really solid. And it also, in this kind of modern way of releasing music these days, like you don't have to make people wait too long for a 17 song album. You can release music more often, put more singles out. But we also, this one in particular, we really didn't want to rush it. Normally we kind of record over the winter. We weren't quite ready yet this time, and recording over the winter works pretty well at our space because it's much less hot. It is insanely hot there in the summer, but we've actually been recording all summer this year, so we're about 5 or 6 months later than we were on the last cycle. And we actually thought, depending on how this cycle goes with mastering, after we mixing and mastering, and we might sit on it a little bit, depending on, we want to line some things up that we've never done. We want to consider all the possibilities with how we might be able to release it. So we're trying to decide whether it's going to come out sooner than later, but even if it's later, it's probably going to be early next year. So
sweet.
And we're taking our time because, like he said, we weren't ready when we normally are ready to do the recording stuff. That's usually like December, January, February. We're really in the friggin' throes of recording, mixing, mastering, and all that such. I think 2 years ago today we released.
It was right around now because I was the MC that night.
Yeah, we
from
had
the Murky Depths. Yeah,
Murky Depths CD release party, and it's been like, okay, we've been pretty steady. Like middle of the year, we put out an EP, and this one was like, I mean, the 4 of us were like, I'm not ready yet. Like we're close. Like we need to touch some things up, and there's a few things that need to be worked on, and then we got him going, and finally, I mean, we took our time writing all these songs, and I feel much more confident with these songs than maybe some of the songs in the past. Was like, okay, we kind of burned through that, and it feels pretty good. I mean, we'll make it work in the edits, and the chopping block will be in there, and we'll fix stuff. But these are more of, there's no more fat. There's nothing to trim. Like this is going to be exactly how the song is. And we went in, and honestly, these guys, Adam destroyed the drums. Unbelievable. He was it Noble and Cooley, I think is the name of the set he's got.
Yes, yeah, he's got a Noble and Cooley kit, and it's just a beautiful natural wood kit that
Stunning.
Doesn't come out of the jam space because it's a very
too nice to take it out.
It's too nice to go anywhere, but it goes to the recording studio. So we got to do drums over at Halo in Wyndham this time around, and they sounded so good. They sound killer. So very excited we got to do that.
John Wyman, right? Legendary?
No, he did not do the drums.
Oh, who did the drums?
Kevin Billingsley.
Oh, Kevin. Yeah. I've seen Kevin in the socials before.
Yes.
Hey, Kevin.
He did the drums. Really excited about how they came out. Guitars were Seth and Justin just kind of hanging out in our own studio
at our
using
space.
Using the stuff. Justin's got a really cool array of things to record with, and he honestly,
makes a lot of it, right?
Yeah, quite a bit of it's made, and there's a lot of stuff that he's bought that's like really rare things that he wanted to buy one and he bought it, and then these guys get to use them. And I'll be honest, these guitars and bass sound meatier than they've ever sounded on any of the other EPs. Like these guys absolutely destroyed it. It's I'm so excited for everyone to hear these things.
Did someone say meaty guitars?
That's meaty.
Meaty.
Veiny. Yeah,
baby.
Wow,
thick and veiny.
All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Good thing we marked this thing as for adults only.
Not suitable for work or children or wives
or society.
Society. Yeah. But no, like the guys, they destroyed the guitars. They were fantastic. I honestly, funny story is the first night we started to record vocals, the gentleman who I was working with on vocals was like, all right, let's go. He hit play. I forgot to start singing because I had not heard the bass and the guitars yet. So I was just kind of sitting there going,
oh, wow.
Huh, that's fucking cool. And he goes, there any lyrics here? And I went, oh yeah, loads. What's up? He goes, yeah, we've been recording for like a full minute. I went, oh shit. I forgot to sing.
So one thing we didn't do this time, so normally at each stage we, export what we've got and we do a lot of listening, and you can kind of get what they call demoitis if you overdo it with listening to a demo, because what ends up happening is you get used to how the demo sounds, and then when you kind of get things to fully formed, you start missing what the demo sounded like, and it can kind of be dangerous. So this time we really didn't export things at each stage. We really just build it upon it in person, and then once it's done. Today we got to hear the mixes for the first time, and I really felt like I was hearing these songs for the first time, because hadn't yet heard everything all together in the first place, and then having it mixed professionally, it just wow. So psyched with how it came out.
Yeah, honestly, this was the first time I'd actually heard all of the lyrics set, because when we did the recording, it'd be like, all right, we're going to do just the verses, and we'd bang out all the verses, and then we'd come back and do the choruses. We never listened after that to hear the whole song as one rip through, because I did so many takes, and who we were working with was just like bang, 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 bang. He had this folder of each verse and each chorus that was, 6-7 takes each. And we didn't listen back. Like, we just got it done. He was going to piece some stuff together. And honestly, hearing them today, like Seth said, it was like a first time I'd ever heard these songs. And I was absolutely blown away what we did. One of the songs we have is over 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes and 20 seconds long.
Wow.
So we wrote a Tool song.
But it doesn't sound anything.
A short Tool song. It's like, it's an early Tool song.
Yeah.
But it's a song that if you've ever lost somebody in your life, you can find something in this song. And in the last, let's see, 3 years, 4 years, I've lost quite a few people in my life, and this song was kind of dedicated to them. And last year, it was May, I had to put my dog down that I'd had for 10 years, which was just brutal on my family in and of itself. So the whole song being 5 minutes, and just the way we built it up. I mean, the acoustic guitars, we did post that on our socials that we're recording some acoustics. The acoustics in that thing, they shine so brightly in that spot that I mean, listening to it today, my wife and I were in the living room. I had my surround sound all cranked up, and I was listening to it, and we were both in tears, just remembering the people we'd lost. And the song just, it hits so hard emotionally. I know Adam said in the band chat that it's very palpable what you put into those songs. Like, you can feel it. It's almost real in your ears. Like, you're not just like, oh yeah, the guy's sad. Like, you're like, you know what? This is fucking kind of bullshit. Like,
it's a tough one. Miranda and I, my wife Miranda and I listened to it for the first time this afternoon or tonight. And, we were both in tears. Like, honestly, it's a tough one to listen to. And I think it's got to be on the end of the record, because I don't think you can really do anything after that. Like,
you're not making it past that. Yeah. You got it at the end, so that you got to, like, okay, I'm really upset, but at the same time, like, I got to start the album over again to get to something like more fun, Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'm the most excited I've ever been to listen to anything. You know what I mean? You painted a picture in my head, not only the content, how serious you guys take it, but also like the intent with all of it. And a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into this. So to put out an EP, whether it's every 12 months, every 18 months, is so much work. You have to come up with the idea of a song. You need to massage it with the band. You need to give it a direction, give it lyrics, give it all this. You got to record it, mix it, master it. You need visuals. You need all this. And like 15-year-old me would get pissed when Deftones took 3 years between Around the Fur and White Pony.
Right.
Yeah. And to like have all these conversations with bands like you guys, and I'm in such a different headspace where I'm so much more appreciative. And then when you guys tell us this stuff, it's like, holy shit, even 18 months is wild.
Yeah,
it is. It does take a long time, but it's so worth it. Like, I think something early on that actually John Wyman said to me, you have to love your songs before you expect anyone else to ever love your songs. So the more love that you put into them, it's going to kind of reciprocate outward. So I think it's one of those things where you can't expect anyone else to like what you're doing until you love it,
That's the same you can talk about that with just about any kind of artistic endeavor. And people always say that about just relationships in general, right? You can't love anybody until you love yourself. So it's the same idea, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're going to go half-assed with your songs, people are going to be like, they went half-assed with those songs. I don't like any of that. But if you put in the...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? And if you put in the effort and the time and all the stuff that, what we've talked about here for the last 45 minutes, you're going to have people be like, ooh, that makes me feel something, because I can tell that they felt something when they were doing it.
Right. Well, and that's the big thing about this whole album being called Tempest. It's the struggles, not just within me, but within every person that's ever been, depression, people being just shitty to you and pretending to be your friend, losing people and animals and things you love so deeply, and having not the chance to say anything because you don't have a platform, and people being like, people cheating on you and doing shitty things. And, I think people are going to really find something in each song, especially where we didn't goof. We did goof around. There one song called Braggadocio. It's
I'm so excited about this song.
It's so fucking good. Oh, and best part is it starts out with bass guitar and there's a fucking bass solo in it. So I'm so excited for people to hear that, because Seth crushed it. It is so fucking good.
I had a lot of fun with that one.
The lyrics, again, we went a little goofy with it, but it's talking about, that guy who's got, he comes off with big dick energy, but he drives a small dick truck. That's what I've been saying every time we play it live.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a good bassist in house?
He's not bad.
He's
okay.
No, he sounds. Let's go with that. He sounds.
No, if you've
I had so much fun doing this.
If you clicked on this episode, you've probably seen you guys live, and you know that Seth brings it. One of the best I've seen live ever. So
thank you so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
All right, so Tempest, unsure of release date, but hopefully no later than the beginning of 2025, right?
Yes.
Nice. Yep. And shows, you got some shows coming up too.
Shows, yes. So
yeah,
we are insanely excited about September 19th. We are playing with Helmet and Local H at Wally's.
Yeah.
Nice. That's stacked. Top and bottom.
We all grew up listening to Helmet, and this is a cool one. I think all of us have covered Helmet in previous bands, and we've even messed around with a couple of songs with Trawl before, just in the jam space. But so to be able to open for legends like that is so cool. Justin, our guitar player, is losing his mind because this is one of his favorite bands.
I can see that.
Dude, he's going to be wearing brown pants that night just for a specific reason.
That's smart, Justin.
He's going to wear a helmet too. He's going to get in the full.
Exactly.
You got that.
No, you keep that in, damn it.
No, keep the brown pants.
No, keep the brown pants and he's going to wear a helmet.
You're good. That's exciting, yeah.
So when you guys got that notice that you could be on that, were you guys freaking out? I mean, it's a crazy lineup.
Well, there's actually a little story there, because
we didn't find out until they had announced it.
No.
We put our name in. I'm not to interrupt Seth, but we put our name in like, hey, if they need an opener, we would like to put our name in. And Seth does a lot of he does almost all of it with the booking, because he's our booking guy. But he put, the email out and was like, hey, if it's available, we'd like to put our name in. And they were like, nah, the tour package isn't really interested or whatever. And we're like, okay. And then it came up again. We're like, hey, just saying, we're still available. We're still interested. And then I think we were all at work. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, did you guys see the announcement? And we're like, no. And it was like, people started
vacation that week. No.
Yeah, right.
People were like freaking out. We're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, oh.
It's live. It's announced. Yeah. So we never got confirmation that we actually got it. And then all of a sudden it was just out there. So we were like, okay, start promoting right away, because first thing you want to do when you see the venue, the tour package, start promoting it as the band they just announced. Like, you want to make sure you get that announcement out there right away. We want to make sure that we're supporting the promotional efforts, and nothing worse than like when you're announced on a bill and 4 hours go by and you haven't posted about it yet. So like, we wanted to make sure to get it out there right away, but I was at work, so I was like, all right, drop everything. I can do this. But it happens sometimes, but crazy.
Right, well, you just don't know, especially when you weren't told that it was going to happen. So
yeah,
you gotta adapt on the fly. That's happened to us with interviews. It's like, hey, we have a chance at somebody, this date. We have to like figure out what we're doing with our lives to make that happen. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 1 hour, or she's got 1 hour tomorrow at night, at 10 at night. I'm like, okay,
yeah, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Fucking throw the pot of coffee on and go.
We're just gonna email, hey, we're still here. If available,
we should start, Twan. That's what we're gonna do with all the people that we have on the hook right now. We'll just, hey, we're still here, guys. Like, we've been going for 230 plus episodes.
As long as you're not being a dick about it, and you're just like, hey, if you're interested, I mean, we're still interested.
Still be a good.
If
combo.
not, that's fine. And then you give it a little bit, and the same thing. I mean, and honestly, we don't push ourselves like people may think we do. Like, we're not arrogant about it. Like, we, hey, if you're interested or they're interested, we'd like to put our names in there. If not, that's fine. We'll make do. We're not worried about it. And I don't feel like that's arrogant. I feel like that's more of a confidence level where we've been doing this for 6 years now.
Yeah.
Well, and you're not 22 years old either. You've
right.
got the benefit of maturity and age behind us, right? We know, hey, well, it doesn't always work out, so we'll just keep grinding.
I think that what's helped is just trying to be methodical about where and when you play, how often, because if you can, every time you play in a certain area, you can bring people, then it's going to help your cause the next time you want to go back with that same booking agent, and just don't overplay, and we're at a stage of our life where we really don't want to play, that many shows a year because we work full time, but like just trying to be cool about all those, kind of things like, okay, you guys don't want us to play within 60 days in any other place 50 miles from here. Okay, we're going to honor your mileage policy, things like that. Just try to be like super conscientious about that. And it seems to work for us. So.
And make sure, when you're on stage, you talk about having to poop. That usually helps.
Yeah. And I saw you guys get another show, November 8th in Manchester, New Hampshire, Polkadot Cadaver, which is that's most of Dog Fashion Disco?
It is. Yeah, it's actually all of Dog Fashion Disco.
It's all of them. Oh, nice.
So they always play stuff from both bands. I know with Dog Fashion proper, if they go out on tour, they might bring a couple more members, kind of side guys for like extra keyboards and things, because they have more layers, but they have a setup where they can kind of dial in those extra tracks for playing with the Polkadot lineup. So you'll get all the early stuff there too, from Dog Fashion as well, because this is our second year in a row playing with these guys, and excited again. This is one of those things for us that, like, cool, they liked us enough where they're having us back. So,
well, not only that, the Seth and I are kind of geeks. Like, we love Dog Fashion, we love Polkadot, and being able to have that opportunity to play with them last year twice was like, fuck, this is great. This is so cool. And then they've been really cool people, like, and have talked to us and emailed, and they were like, hey, we're going to do it again. We want you guys on it. Let's start building the show. And it's like, okay. And like, they weren't assholes. Todd and Jason have been like super nice and have been wholeheartedly willing to help us, book shows with them to try to build something and get the right venue. And, we've tried a few places in Maine. It didn't happen just based on the venue's availability. And when we were trying to get it done, they didn't want to book that far out. We ended up getting Manchester at the Shaskeen again, which is great. They got a double header. They're playing there Friday and Saturday. we're only on the Friday night, but our friends in Inverter are on the Saturday night. And I mean, if you're in the area, fucking go. They're a phenomenal band to watch live. Todd's voice is spectacular. Jason's just insane on the guitars, and they're just great guys. They'll talk to you. They'll shoot the shit. They have no qualms about just being like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" And they're fucking. I love them. I'm absolutely starstruck with them. So
nice.
Absolutely, awesome. Yeah.
And any other upcoming shows here before the year ends here, 2024?
So we do have a couple of shows to tease. They're not going to be officially announced for a couple of weeks, but I'm totally okay with letting the cat out of the bag. Saturday first. How about this? So Friday, September 27th. We're playing at Hey Sailor up in Searsport, which is kind of down east Maine. First,
we're coming to the mid coast, baby.
First time ever playing there. So in that far up, it's like a cool cocktail bar that opened during the pandemic. It looks like kind of a cool, like, swanky place. It's got a lot of like killer lighting, and they have a brand new stage and sound and everything. And they offered us a show, and we're like, we would love to come up. So we're bringing our friends Drivetrain from Portland. So it's going to be 2 Portland bands kind of invading the down east. So nice. it'll be a blast. Yeah.
Reminds me of Gino's, the way you described it. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah.
the nice cocktail bar. Yeah, that's
nice cocktail bar.
It's a nice swanky,
swanky upright bass. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
the aforementioned theme music to the Podioslave podcast that you guys have played was created by somebody who lives up that way. So maybe I'll have to get him to come down and go to the show and meet you guys.
Better. You guys all in the same room we'll together. Do the Podioslave intro live. Just
that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so that's Friday, September 27th. Saturday, October 26th. We're playing Portland House of Music. It's our Halloween show. So we're going to do a Halloween show featuring us goofy bastards, our friends in Queen, and Euphemia. Yes. I apologize if I say that wrong.
No, I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a great, it's a Saturday night in October. We're going to do, fun stuff. We're going to play some fucking cool tunes with some cool people.
We're going to do a costume contest. It's Halloween. It's Trawloween. So we're going to have fun, and we want everyone to show up and have fun with us at P Home. Like, this isn't going to be like, oh, it's a Thursday night, or, I got to work in the morning. It's Saturday. Like, come on out. Let's have some fun. Hopefully they have all the construction done at that time. It's in that mostly area. Cleared up over there now.
Yeah, you can finally go left off of that off Free Street, which you couldn't for the longest time. Yeah. This is super deep Maine lore, but
this is real deep. Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond excited to be able to do a Saturday in Portland at P Home. I mean, it's such a killer venue, and
great venue.
It's something we've been working towards for years, honestly, because, we were talking about 2 years ago, we got to do our EP release from the Murky Depths there, and we had to have it on Thursday, which was a challenge. So to be able to get a Saturday in Portland is a feat in and of itself, and to be able to get a Halloween weekend show like that prime weekend is
don't knock the mic over, Sean.
Tough. So I mean, and
good thing I'm muted. Shit.
If you guys know Sean out there, Halloween's his favorite holiday, and it's like Christmas for him. So I'm psyched we were able to pull this off.
Dude, it's a pants optional party. I'll be saying that.
Yeah,
have Halloween on Christmas.
So, exactly.
That's great. Yep. Good Blake reference. That's what I heard you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are busy.
Yeah, and then at the sort of November 8th is the Shaskeen in Manch Vegas with Polkadot Cadaver. I don't think there's anybody else on that. I think it's just us and them.
Just us and them. Yeah.
And then Saturday, November 30th.
Ooh.
Oh, I forgot about this one. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't. I got the band super secret band chat here. Saturday, November 30th in Harmony, Maine at the Knot Hole Studios. We're going to be doing, I believe it's their Mosh for Tots gig.
Yes, I love it.
It's basically a benefit for kids.
Spin kick for kids.
Yeah,
nice.
Spin kicks for kids.
Exactly.
If you get on stage, you might get a fucking pick up the change to the face, but that's besides the point. No. No, the guys up there at Knothole Studios, I've been friends with them for a very long time. They're all friggin' killer dudes. I believe, I mean, Gary's the drummer for like 37 bands up there, and they all practice in the same fucking place. It's called Knothole Studios, and I've played there a number of times with previous bands, and it's great. It's a good time, especially with this. It's a benefit. You get to bring a toy, and it goes to Toys for Tots. That's what it is, but it's the mosh for tots, and they give the toys to kids that may need help for Christmas. And honestly, Trawl's always been about being positive and being hopeful and being helpful. And despite the new EP being a little bit more mature and darker, I'd say we're still wanting that. We still want to help and be hopeful and positive. And so bring some fucking toys to Harmony. God damn it.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, no, and that's the time of year that stuff's needed too, right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and Hanukkah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
it's a good time of year to be able to give a little bit if you can. So that's awesome. You guys are doing that too, on top of all the other stuff that's coming, man. Really busy 2024. We're in August now, but don't blink. It'll be November 30th, and you'll be moshing, spin kicking for kids up in
kicking kids. Yeah,
absolutely.
I just had to look it up. It's up beyond Waterville.
Yeah.
Right?
So It's funny, a buddy of mine, Bronson, he'll tell you, if you open an almanac, they're in the crease. You actually can't find them because they're in the fold. He showed me, they are fucking 100%. He opened it and had to bend the book back, and there's this little dot. I thought it was a stitch. It was the fucking dot for Harmony. They're in the middle.
No
of
one's ever
nowhere.
been there.
Yeah.
Dude, the first time I went there, I was like, are we sure we're going to the right place? Like, there's not a lot there. And the town of Harmony, like, I literally drove past the venue because I wasn't paying attention. Like, I had GPS and I had it offline, and I literally drove by it, and I was just kind of looking around like, this is like a quaint hometown, like in the middle of nowhere that, yeah, everybody knows. And I was like, oh fuck, where's the venue? I got to turn around, shit. And drove back, and like everyone's like staring at me like I'm an idiot. And I was like, sorry, I just got lost in the pretty stuff.
I got lost in the crease, baby.
Yeah, I got lost in the crease. There you go.
But outside of going to like Auburn last year, we'd pretty much only been a Portland South band. We've been as far south as like Connecticut. So playing down east area, playing up more central Maine, getting up towards northern Maine is new for us, and it's cool because I think we just continually find more people who are interested in what we're doing and try to grow our fan base.
Well, we did do that Bangor thing that kind of went a little sideways, but
that's true. It wasn't a public open to the.
It wasn't a public thing, but
yeah.
it was, and it was a rough night. So
well, this will go better. I have faith.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that must be half the fun. Is just if it's a place you've never been, just seeing what the venue's like. And I think we talked about this last time. It's like sometimes the little hole in the walls are the best places.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Especially if the hole in the wall is, some of the people there, and you're like, hey, this past Saturday when we played our show, it was really like, we looked at each other and we're like, fuck it, let's just have fun. And that's what we did. Like, we always say that, but this was like really zero pressure. And we got off stage and we looked at each other. We're like, fuck, that was really tight. Like, we nailed that. And it's like, yeah.
It's funny. So like, that's what always happens when you don't put any pressure on yourself. That's when you play the best. Yeah. And like, we were saying it to our, like, I wish we would have played like that when we played with like Nonpoint, or because like, you always, when you have that much pressure on yourself, it's different, but like we were just at kind of a backyard barbecue situation where we're like, man, I don't think we've played this well in a year. This is amazing. So It's so cool when that stuff happens. Other than when we were just finishing up our set and I smashed my face.
Fucking killed your face
with my bass guitar, and I've got a little bit of like it's the swelling has gone down, but I've got a little cut here, and then like below where my glasses were, I got a little cut there. But I was being stupid.
Finally, for once, it wasn't me bleeding on stage. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Slap of the face, Seth. No, slap of the bass is what you want to do, not the face.
So we do this thing. So like at the end of Carcharodon, I kind of go into this like sort of He-Man pose with my bass. I like put it up in the air like that, and then I'll kind of spike it down onto the headstock, and that went swimmingly, no problem. I do that every single, not every show, but like quite often. no big deal. But then Adam started sort of like continuing the drum part into this sort of like blues breakdown, and then we all come back in on the last note. So I picked my bass back up to try to put it back on, and then I smashed the headstock against my face. So yeah. Don't do that, kids.
Yeah, don't do that. Be careful. Those things are heavy, and yeah.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah. Well, shit. Yeah, I think this is exciting stuff going forward here, and we're excited to hear the new music. Hopefully in the fairly near future, and then all the shows you guys got coming, and funk metal to the future.
I will say you are right around the corner from our jam spot. If you happen to stop in, you might get a chance to listen to the new tracks. I'm just saying, you know.
And that will happen in the fairly near future. Yeah, I might. You're on my way home from work, which I go back here a week from today. So
yeah, I mean, Anthony, the kids could come. We got earplugs. It's okay, dude.
Earplugs and earmuffs. And here's my commitment. I will be at. Let me think. At least one of the upcoming shows, maybe two.
Awesome.
These things have to be planned out. Now that I have like enough lead time, as long as no one gets sick and.
Right. We'll find our way. Podioslave, Trawl will be back together in person before long. But excited to do it digitally with you guys tonight, and then thanks for coming back, man. I mean, we'll have you again. I mean, we love catching up with you guys, and you've become friends, family, all that stuff over the last few years. So it's been great to have you guys back.
Yeah, man.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having us back.
We won't wait a year next time.
Yeah,
we won't.
We're coming for that spot, Spose,
I think Rob's the leader in the clubhouse.
I know,
he's
but
like 10 or 11.
Spose is number 2, so we gotta, we can't shoot Riccatelli's out of the fucking stratosphere. We can't touch him. Spose is attainable at this point, and I'm okay. He's the king of Maine. We can be the princes. We're okay with that.
I like that.
Two princes over here.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. It was fun.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast. YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.